most exciting cities in the world. Join Amity University Dubai and take the first step towards reaching your future career path. Choose from over 30 internationally accredited degrees in sectors including business, engineering, computer science, media, and law. Prepare for the workforce of the future and launch your career at Amity University Dubai. Together, we will change the world. Visit our website at amityuniversity.ae to apply today. Study in Dubai, one of the fastest growing and most exciting cities in the world. Join Amity University Dubai and take the first step towards reaching your future career path. Choose from over 30 internationally accredited degrees in
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I know we had a long travel and we had a lot of trouble getting here, especially our Pakistani friends. And to a very large extent, all the Indian students were here. Till 11 p.m. last night, we didn't know how many of you were actually going to make it. So congratulations to those who made it here. So there are about 6 students who didn't make it from India because of visa issues. There are lots of students from Pakistan who didn't make it. 4 complete teams actually didn't make it here. So what I need you to do is make sure that everyone who is participating virtually is involved. Right? If I hear about people cribbing that they're not able to participate because they are off-site and the students here are not letting them get involved, we are going to have a tough talk. And you don't want that, right? We want the next 24 hours or 48 hours of being together to be as smooth as possible. So let's make sure that those who missed out on being here just because of a stupid visa situation do not get punished anymore. They've had their own, they've had extensive punishments just by spending so much money and still not being able to make it. Apart from that, we are going to have our introductory sessions over the next few hours. Piece of sad news, Miss Anita Gale, who was the founder of the competition, passed away on May 18 of 2024. It was very sudden. We She was here in April last year. She looked healthy, but pancreatic cancer was eating her alive from the inside, and we didn't know. By the time we found out, she was gone in a week. So that was a very sudden demise. That was a big loss for us, big loss for me personally. And hopefully we will be able to honor her memory by doing a great competition this year. As is tradition in the UAE, we will start with their national anthem. So if you can all please stand up for the UAE national anthem, and then we will proceed with the competition. Once again, welcome to the Asian Regional Space Settlement Design Competition. We're doing this one for the 21st time. About 8 years ago, we started the Indian Nationals, and then about 12 years ago, I think we started doing a competition in China, just because of the number of students who want to participate and experience a live event. How many of you are coming back, again to the competition? How many of you have done it more than twice? Right? Any live event, whether it's a national competition or an internationals or an Asian semifinals. So quite a lot of you. There are some of you that I know personally, some of you that I remember, and a lot of teachers. I know of teachers who've been coming here for almost 10 years. So welcome back to all of you. We want to make sure that, not only do we honor Anita's memory, but we also showcase all of your talents. And we're doing that in multiple ways during the competition, but one of the things that we have done this year is we are going to give away an award in the name of Anita Gale. She was a creative genius, so I couldn't think of a better term, and the award is called Anita Gale Creative Genius Award. And it will be up to the CEOs to choose those. If the CEOs find any one of the students to be exceptionally creative and talented, and someone who is willing to work with others at the same time, because Anita was very gentle, right? She never confronted people unless they were being hard asses. Sorry for my language. She was extremely accommodating and very generous. So even though she was one of the most creative people I know, arrogance was not something that she displayed very often. And so those are the qualities that we are looking for. On top of creativity, you're looking for someone who is humble at the same time. So I would appreciate if the CEOs pay attention to that and, help us choose those awardees. There would be a Dick Edwards Award from every company. Dick Edwards was Anita Gale's husband. He was one of the quiet leaders who could change the dynamics of a meeting very, very quickly. Just his presence in the room changed leadership dynamics. And so every year we give since 2009, so for the last 15 years, we've been giving away Dick Edwards Exceptional Leadership Award. And from this year, we'll be doing a Creative Genius Award as well. Depending on our judges, we might do Best Male Presenter and Best Female Presenter, but that's entirely up to the judging panel to decide if you guys want to do that. So those are our individual awards. We didn't used to do it, but once Dick passed away, we thought we should do some individual awards, and so these would be those. All the companies have about 60 students. Some companies are a little lopsided because an entire team couldn't make it to the semifinals. They are participating virtually. So there would be those dynamics in play, and we would need the CEOs to make sure that everyone gets equal participation during the event. Anita Gale was an exceptional person, right? And a lot of my friends here have experienced that. It was a big loss for me personally because in private and in public, she addressed me as her son. She didn't have any immediate family. And so her passing was very sudden. She started showing signs of real sickness at the end of April. I think that's when sorry? Yeah, but you forced her at the end of April to actually go to the doctor. Yeah. Yes, but she basically signed it off to being an allergy. And I stupidly agreed to it. And then Jack literally forced her to go to the doctors, and that was at the end of April, and by May 18, she was gone. She had pancreatic cancer. And that thing just ate her up alive. She was, we recognize her as the mother of the Space Settlement Design Competition. She was the founder, she was the energy and the force behind it. And to a large extent, she also funded the entire finalist competition and a lot of several smaller competitions all over the US. She built this as her legacy, and we plan to carry it on. She was also a very curious traveler, and she was a sailor. She used to sail on sailboats, and she was very good at it. She actually, at the end of her life, she had 4 sailboats, and she was nurturing crew for each one of them, and she was paying for all the expenses. So not only did she like students, she also nurtured a lot of engineers from the aerospace industry in ways that we cannot even imagine. Personally, she was a senior project engineer in the Space Shuttle Payload and Cargo Integration Program at the Boeing company. That was a time when Boeing was doing really, really well. Her professional career started on the Space Shuttle program when she was working for Rockwell International. She had several patents in her name. So when you look at the Space Shuttle, everything that goes in the cargo bay, she actually developed a lot of those technologies, right? She had patents on how things would connect. She had patents on how things would be organized. So when you read how many of you actually read the RFP? The program book? I haven't given you the RFP yet. How many of you read the program book? How many of you received the program book? What about the ones that haven't received the program book? Can you please raise your hand if you don't know what a program book is? All right, can you raise your hand if you know what a program book is? So everyone that is not raising a hand right now, can you please stand up so I can see you better? I don't understand the concept of not raising your hand. Either you know or you don't know. And most of the people are not raising their hands either way. So how do I define the ones in the middle? Do you know what a program book is? All right, hands up, straight, so I can see that you actually know. How many of you have received the program book that was sent over email? Now please tell me how many of you actually took the pains of reading the entire program book. If you haven't done so, my strong recommendation is read it tonight, right? Spend time alone reading the program book. There are several very important pages in there. There are pages that define your company. There are pages that define the other companies. There are pages that define your customer's expectation. And then there are pages that define the subcontractors. The subcontractor list is not the same as the other years. There are changes to it. Your company can use all the technology that they have. They can also use other company technologies via litigation limiters, right? So if you don't know what the other companies are capable of, how do you plan to use it? So please read the program book before we give you the RFP. When you read the program book, you will come across a term called CASC, right? It's like a cargo container for the space industry. Anita invented that term, and that is what most of her life was around cargo on the space shuttle. So please pay attention to that. That will be very helpful throughout answering requirements from the RFP. Anita established the Space Element Design Competition in 1984. About 20 years later, I came around as a young engineering student. We became very good friends very quickly, and then 6 months later, I started the Asian competition in 2004. The first one we did was in December 2004. And I still remember we were at the American Center in New Delhi, and Anita and Dick were there at the American Center. The US ambassador had just finished his speech, and then Anita and Dick did their presentation. And all of the adults in the room, all of the teachers and the parents who had come with various teams, they were circling around Anita Gale and Dick Edwards, wanting to know why a 19-year-old student is in charge of running the competition in Asia, right? That was the highlight of the event. She was so pissed off at the adults trying to undermine someone who was doing good work. That's how she would always address Indians. You know, everywhere she would go, she would tell that story on how biased Indian adults are against the younger generation. I think to some extent that still applies, right? Wanting to get marks in grade 10 is more important somehow than learning. And I hope by participating in this competition, you will get away from that a little bit. When you actually work in the industry, I don't think anyone would ever be interested in knowing how much you scored in grade 10 or grade 12, right? 15 minutes after you get in the industry, the only thing that counts is how much is in your head, how much do you actually know and understand. You could be the topper from your school or your engineering college. Once you get into the industry, no one cares. So when you are here, please make sure it's not about proving your individual capabilities and mugging up things and trying to showcase how much you can remember. No one is interested in that. Your colleagues are more interested in working with you to create something innovative, finding good solutions, and then doing it with a calm head. One of the things that Anita did every year was her pilgrimage to the Grand Canyon. She would go there for a week or 10 days. She would take some of her favorite people to the Grand Canyon. They would disconnect from the world, and then she would get all her energies back. She was an absolute history buff, and she was one of my favorite people on the planet. I miss her a lot. And if you all don't mind, I would like all of you to get up and offer a minute of silence and prayer for Anita Gale. Thank you so much. We are very thankful to the Amity University for letting us be here at the competition, be here in their campus. And part of that, our promise to them is that we will maintain decorum at all times. We will maintain cleanliness at all times. So I would really appreciate if you guys can pay attention to these two things. Please maintain the decorum of the university and maintain cleanliness. If you guys need anything that is not being provided to you, you can contact me, you can contact your CEOs. If you see any of the volunteers from the university, they're wearing a volunteer badge, please contact them and they will try and help you as much as possible. From the university side, to open up the session, we have Dr. Satish Kannan. He's the Dean School of Engineering, Architecture, and Interior Design. He also serves as the chairman of the University Research Committee. Before joining Amity University, he held the position of Engineering Program Manager at Rolls-Royce in the UK. He led global program teams responsible for aerospace propulsion related products supporting the Dreamliner 787 and the Airbus 380 and 350 fleet. Following this, he was appointed as the Design and Manufacturing Engineering faculty at the American University of Sharjah. Dr. Kannan earned a doctoral degree from the University of New Brunswick, Canada, and completed an industrial postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Cambridge. Dr. Kannan, if you may, please.
Good evening, everyone. I understand all of you are very tired, 5:30 on a Friday. First of all, a very warm welcome to the Amity University Dubai campus. As you'd have seen, it's a very sustainable green campus. You will see there is no region in this campus where there is no sunlight coming in. So that's the significance of sustainability and environmental aspects that have gone into the construction of this university. Sunlight, very important. Why sunlight is important? Without sun, we are not here. And one of your space settlements is also related to sunlight as well. And as I always say to students, science is learned in nature, not inside buildings. Only when you are in nature, you learn science. You experience it. You feel it. Then something unique comes out of that experience, which you call science. The other key thing, the concept of space settlement is very exciting, very unique, out of the box thinking. And only one request to all the bright minds who are present here. Inclusion is very important. 2 days back, I was in India in a village school where kids don't have water to drink, they don't have food, they don't have school uniforms, they don't have shoes, but all they have is aspiration to achieve something in life. So when you go for any unique ideas, out-of-the-box ideas, novel ideas, inclusion of society, inclusion of your co-citizens is very important. Anything that you come up as a concept should address citizens from all walks of life. This is what I learned 2 days back. I was with a group of students who have nothing, and today I'm standing in front of a group of students who are aspiring to go out of the earth. A very distinctive type or group of people that I'm meeting within 2 days of gap. So just imagine my state of mind. How should I address the students and kids from that low social status? And I'm now standing in front of people who are privileged. You have everything with you. You have money, you have facilities, you have the opportunities, you have the support. So all I request with the people who are in the auditorium today, always keep your co-citizens of this world in your mind in whatever you do, and inclusion of everybody in your plan is of utmost importance. Whether you do artificial intelligence or whether you want to fly out of the earth, keep this in your mind. It's very important. And at this point, something comes to my mind. There was an Indian poet. His name was Kaniyan Pungundanar. He said 4,000 years back, 4,000 years, even when you are not thinking of any civilization, Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir. The meaning of that is, you are a global citizen and every country is my own country and every citizen is my brother and sister. So you should keep this in mind, which is the need of the hour, that harmony in the society is very important. And you see there are a lot of discrepancies from countries to countries, continent to continent. But at the end of the day, as a human being, we need to keep only one thing in mind, that every citizen is my family. And whatever you come up as an innovation or whatever you come up as an inventive solution should address all people in this society. So that's a main information that I want to share with you today. As you visit Amity University, Dubai is committed to contributions to society. We train our students for societal leadership, for professional leadership, to make them a complete citizen which will fit into this world order. So I'll quickly take you through some history of Amity University. Amity Group was formed 30 years back in India, and we have 11 universities and 25 schools, worldwide campuses, and it's still growing. And we are on the top 3% universities globally recognized by the QS and the Times rankings. And we have a massive population of students who have graduated from this institution, who are serving in different parts of the world in responsible positions, who are part of the alumni of this institution. And these alumni are created by our well-trained faculty and responsible teachers who teach the students about social responsibility, how to behave in a society as a human being, which is number one importance for us. More than whatever you learn, whatever Mr. Abhishek was referring to as innovation, invention. You think of anything, but at the end of the day, how are you going to make a change in one's life who needs help? How are you going to make a betterment in their life? That is more important in whatever you do, whatever actions you are going to do in your future. Amity University, Dubai, this particular campus was established back in 2016. Before that, we were in the KHD building in 2011. We have 3 schools here: the School of Engineering, Architecture, and Interior Design, Amity Business School, and School of Humanities, Arts, and Applied Sciences. And we are offering close to 24 programs which are accredited by the UAE Ministry of Education. We offer both undergraduate and postgraduate programs. And we have close to 160 faculty and staff who help us and deliver this instruction to our students. I represent the School of Engineering, Architecture, and Interior Design. We have 9 programs representing all core engineering programs, plus some specialized programs such as biotechnology. And we also have programs in architecture and interior design, along with the core engineering such as electrical, mechanical, aerospace, information technology, and computer science. From the Amity Business School, we have close to 6 programs that we offer at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. And with the School of Humanities, Arts, and Applied Sciences, we have specialized programs such as psychology, animation and film production, digital media and communication, education, fashion design, which is more sought after and which is most preferred courses as well within the students. And the School of Humanities, they offer 8 programs in the current academic calendar year. So as I said, our curriculum is designed to address student needs. So we identify what are the needs for a student to be successful in the society in terms of their societal responsibility, professional leadership, and we develop them through internships. We send them to Industry Connect. We enable students to spend in their professional society, in a professional atmosphere where they learn what is what with their peers. Innovation and participation in research is something that we encourage, assign faculty mentors who help the students to conduct research, independent research, develop communication skills, develop analytical skills, and create impact, which is more important in today's world. How impactful is your action? How impactful is your finding to the society? That's very important that we focus on. And we also practice students on networking, which is very important. In today's world, if you want to find a job, you need to know how to network. What is the meaning of network and how it is done? That's very important that we teach our students as well. From the sporting side, we have very good facilities for various different types of sports activities. We develop skills and we identify them and take them to the next level. In terms of accommodation, we have a first-class accommodation, dormitories for boys and girls separately, and all facilities provided in the dormitory are next level. In addition to the curriculum, we encourage students to participate in research. We have 6 centers of excellence which focuses on important UN sustainability goals, and we allow and we motivate the students to be part of these centers of research excellence led by the faculty, and they work as part of a team working with the faculty on novel technologies. And there are close to 29 state-of-the-art labs within the university where students conduct research. And many students aspire to become entrepreneurs, and we have a very good incubation center where we have very good success stories where students have started their own startup companies, and we encourage them as well. In terms of industry connect, we have subject matter experts who work with our faculty and students to develop their career map. Last year, we had subject matter experts visiting our campus from Boeing, Airbus, Rolls-Royce, you name them, they were here. And this is a unique opportunity for students to network with top companies in the world. And they provide service, community service, as part of their profession and engage with the students on mentoring programs, allow them to build a career skills matrix that needs to be completed as they move on from year on year. Before they graduate, the gap that the industry says between academia and industry has to be filled in. So we enable these career skills bridge to be built, working with the subject matter experts from the industry. In addition to that, we also follow our curriculum and design them working with the professional organizations associated with each program within the 3 schools, and we engage with the specialists from all the professional organizations, which is of utmost importance to understand what the industry needs, what the society needs, and all the curriculum and programs are designed based on those outcomes. These are the important contact. If you need any further information on studying at Amity University, Dubai, you can make note of the website. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and email address is also provided here, along with the phone numbers. I just wanted to give a message which is more relevant to why you are here. Engineers and scientists, they always stand in the forefront of problem solving, whether it's Corona or COVID or you talk anything. Engineers and scientists, they are on the front line solving problems, societal problems causing disruption in our survival on Earth. And I hope you will keep this in your mind while you participate in the space settlement program. Whatever solutions, innovative solutions or inventive solutions that you're going to come up has to address a societal problem. How impactful is your innovation? That is the end of the project that you're going to deliver us on Monday. Hopefully you will come up with some out-of-the-box radical thinking which can be applied for the benefit of the society. An example, our human being who is stuck in the space for the last 6-7 months now. Along with her, there is one more astronaut as well, Mr. Wilmore, who is also there in the space stuck there. So the solutions that you're going to come up with should have a direct application on problem solving. That is engineering. That is engineering in action. It has to solve a direct societal problem, not just for something publishing on a research paper or getting a patent which will sleep in your cupboard. Is of no use. And that is not science and that is not engineering. Engineering is always learned in practice. It is always aimed at solving problems. If you cannot solve a problem, then that is not an engineered product. So with this, I will wrap up my presentation. And once again, thank you for coming into Amity University, Dubai, and hope you will have an enjoyable, good learning experience on how to develop an innovative solution and how to apply it to a real-world problem solving. Thank you very much.
All right. Before we deep dive into these slides, we will do the space quiz. And then, you ready, Jack? He can moderate himself. You? All right. So, for those of you who know the tradition and for those of you who don't, we need 8 students here to participate in the space quiz show. So the first 8 students that show up at the front get to participate in the space quiz show. All right, stop.
You ready? All right, are we ready for the quiz show? We got A, B, C, and you guys are not in alphabetical order. You're in reverse alphabetical order. Okay, back when Anita and Dick started the competition, they wanted to find a unique way to kind of educate the students on attributes of the settlement that was going to be designed. So handing out material and putting interesting information in program books and things like that didn't seem to work, so she came up with a quiz show. So we have a number of questions, and the way it works is these are multiple choice. So each team gets to raise one letter, what they think the right answer is, and there's a dozen or so questions, maybe more. So you got to keep track. You can do it in your head? Okay. So whichever team gets the most questions answered correctly wins, and the winner will get to choose between prizes we have, and then the other almost winners get to choose the other prize. All right. Oh, let me introduce myself. I'm Jack Gafford. I'm a senior systems engineer working for Boeing on the Boeing Starliner program, and Sonny and Butch are not really stranded, but there's a whole story behind that. But I'm working on getting our Starliner spacecraft ready to be certified for human spaceflight, so we're real excited about that. And we had our troubles last year, and we're working to get those fixed. So, and a lot of our people are look to Butch and Sonny as our astronauts, because we worked with them quite closely. All right. Sample question, is there life in the universe? And the answers are yes, no, only primitive, we don't know. Yeah, you got to have high. You got to put it up real high. You don't know, huh? Let's see now. I think, okay, A is the right answer because obviously you are here. So there is life in the universe. All right. You guys ready for the first question? You have a question?
Whoever answers right first, they get a point.
Oh, by the way, if you have the same answer as the other team and you're second, you might want to try a different letter. So keep that in mind. Oh, wrong way. Correct answer is A. How much gravity is there in space? None. Everything is weightless. A tiny amount called micro-g decreases with the distance from Earth. There is gravity due to every object in the universe. And it's D, and these guys were first.
Guys are going to keep score, right? You got 1 point. Yeah.
So that's team stage right, this is team stage left.
Yeah.
What are common hazards to humans in space? Vacuum temperature extremes, vacuum temperature space debris, asteroids and comets, temperature and radiation. We got a D and a D.
The answer's changed again. Okay.
Okay, we got a D and a D and a B.
D and a B.
Yes, team stage right is a little bit confused. All right, let's see what the answer is. D.
Guys?
Do we have a right answer?
Scores are tied now.
Okay. Where's the most severe space radiation environment? Below the Van Allen radiation belt, in the Van Allen radiation belt, outside the belt, beyond Mars orbit. We got two B's. Somebody may want to rethink one.
Are you sure it's B? Are you sure it's B? Sure it's A?
All right, you guys ready? A and B? Let's see here. B, in the Van Allen belt.
2-1.
There'll be a quiz on why that's true later. Which orbit is the most severe Van Allen radiation belt environment? Which orbit is in? I'm sorry. Low Earth orbit, Space Shuttle and ISS, 10,000 miles, GPS satellites, geosynchronous, communication satellites, Earth Moon libation point number 1.
Okay.
We got a C and a D. All right. The answer is C.
Scores are tied again. 2-2.
We're 2 and 2?
2-2.
In deep space without a spacesuit, what would kill you first? Vacuum, temperature extremes, radiation, space debris. A, vacuum.
3-2.
These guys are up?
They've got 3. This is 2.
Okay. How long is the lowest energy transfer from Earth to Mars orbit? And that's in time. 6 months, 29 weeks, 259 days, 3/4 of a year. We got a B and an A. It kind of depends on where the orbits start, but let's see what the answer is. Answer C. And that's a Holman transfer. The Holman transfer is a type of orbital change that takes a minimum amount of energy.
Still are at a 3 and a 2.
3 and a 2. How can ample electrical power be obtained in the inner solar system? Solar energy, Earth's magnetic field, solar energy, solar wind, solar energy, atomic oxygen.
D and an A.
Let's
Sure.
see, C and an A, all right. A, solar energy.
This is tough competition. There are 3 and 3 again.
We're tied?
Yeah?
Okay. What are L1, L2, L3, L4, and L5? The series of rockets built in Japan, Lagrange points where orbital forces balance, libration points where orbits are stable, new Roman numerals for 51, 52, 53, 54, and 55. Okay, we got a C and a B. The answer is B.
3 and 4.
C is not that far off. It depends what you consider a stable orbit. But if we could have attention, I'm sure the people down here in the front
Folks,
would like to hear the questions. And this is education for everybody. So if you're talking, you're not listening. Thank you. How many humans have been to the moon? 12, 8, 6, 2. A to B? The answer is A. Now, if you read the question carefully, if you include being in orbit around the moon, that number goes up.
Guys are tied again.
We're tied again, all right. When was the last time humans visited the moon?
Come on.
Pick your favorite year. C and a D? You guys might want to rethink that.
Are you sure it's a C?
You guys are absolutely certain about that? All right. 1972. 1975 was Skylab, and 1981 was the first launch of the space shuttle.
We're still tied at 4 and 4.
4 and 4, tied?
Yeah, 4 and 4.
All right. How long are nights in space? Depends on how high you are. Half in orbit, about 45 minutes in Leo. A few minutes during eclipses. There is no night in
You
space.
sure?
We got a B and a D. All right, the answer is A. We're still tied, right?
We're still tied.
Okay. How can gravity be simulated in space? Rotation,
Guys?
rotation and constant thrust rockers. We got 2 A's. Somebody may want to rethink that. Constant thrust rockers, attraction from a black hole. Got an A and a B, and the answer is B.
We now have 4 and 5.
What is the most common element on the moon? Oxygen, silicon, aluminum, calcium. We got a D and a B. I'll give you a minute to maybe rethink that.
Are you sure it's D?
No? You gonna stick with B and D? All right. Oxygen. It's all tied up in oxides.
4 and 5. 4 and 5.
You guys ready for the next one?
4 and 5.
How long does a radio signal travel from Earth to Mars when the planets are the closest? 28 minutes, 14 minutes, 8 minutes, 3 minutes. We got an upside down A, we got a D, we got a C. You know, if you took C and D, I still don't think you have a right answer. D, 3 minutes.
Guys, the gap is now building up. So there's 4 and 6.
Ah. What is the escape velocity from Earth?
Come on.
25,000 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, 45, or 55? Got an A and a D,
We've got a C and a D now.
a C and a D. That must be the really big Earth, Rohan. You sure?
Which one?
A. All right, we're still at 6 and 4?
4 and 6, yeah.
What feature is not clearly visible on the outside of an orbiting space settlement? This is Anita's pet peeve. Rotating structure, section for artificial gravity, spaceship docking, bay on perimeter, radiator to dissipate heat, and
Right
communications
side
antenna.
up A and an upside down A. So.
Yeah, somebody might want to rethink.
Are you
whether-
sure it's A? Are you guys sure it's A?
Who was first?
If it's A, it's them. Otherwise, it doesn't matter.
It's not. Yeah, and the reason that doesn't work is it's orbital mechanics. If you are trying to attach yourself to something that's rotating, you have to match that rotational speed, and that's really difficult to do in orbit. You're better off coming in the middle where there's no gravity, no rotational gravity.
4 and a 6.
What altitude is a lunar non-libration synchronous orbit? 1,000 miles, 10,000, 23, it's not possible. Stage right's got to pick one.
Guys, got to pick one.
Oh, a B, we got a B and a B?
If it's a B, they got it first. Are you sure it's a B?
We got a B and a C. Okay, the answer is not that. How do solar sails work?
Guys, pay attention.
Same principle as sailboats. There's no such thing as solar sails. Photons from sunlight push on fabric. Particles from solar wind push on fabric. What do we got? C and a C?
If it's a C.
Who was first?
They were first. If
They
it's
were
a C.
first? If it's a C.
Yeah?
If it's a C.
If it's a C.
If it's, we have a
Oh,
C and a D. Oh, okay.
That doesn't
D.
matter. There they go.
Now it's getting, they're one apart now, right?
Well done. 5 and 6. They're catching up now.
Ooh. How many humans have been to Mars? Humans have only been in Mars orbit. 3 have walked on the surface. Thousands, but only in movies. 12 is some numbers of moon.
If it's C, it's them.
Ooh.
That's the whole point, being the judge, you know. Guys, you guys are still tied at 6 and 6.
All right, this might be the tiebreaker. How long did it take Apollo missions to get to the moon? 2 days, almost 4 days, a week, a month.
Guys, which one?
We got a B and a C? All right, let's go with that. B. Now-
Okay, 7 and 6.
All right, they're coming from behind. Is there water on the moon? No. Yes. Large deposits in shaded craters.
Here's what I'm going to do. You put B up, then you put B down. And while that was happening, she put B up. We can do
No.
rock, paper, lizards, and then Spock
we have
too.
we have a tiebreaker if we get there. Okay, so what do we got? We got a B and a B. We got a B and a C. All right.
Okay?
D. All
What were your
right.
scores again?
How many people are in space right now? And that number is going to change. None, fewer, 6, 7 to 15, more than 15.
Scores at 7 and 6, we've got B and C. 8 and 6.
I think technically today it's actually C, but we'll go with B because that's the answers that. Well, that's with Butch and Sonny having an extended mission. But we won't count that one. We'll go with 6 or fewer. Because I don't really know exactly how many are on ISS at the moment. What shape are orbits? Circular, oval, ellipse around a center, ellipse around one foci. B and a C? D. What are we, 8?
8 and 7.
8 and 7? It never ends. What raises in orbit?
Sorry, hold on a second. Who got that last one? So it's 9 and 6. It's not 8 and 7. It's 9 and 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
What raises in orbit? A thrust away from center, thrust towards center, thrust to add speed, thrust to reduce speed. C and a C.
They got it first.
C.
9 and 8. 8.
Do we have a winning team?
That's the winning team.
All right,
Give it up for the team on the left. You guys get to come up. You want to influence which design they want? Okay. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, I was just going to go ahead and just do a quick coach's corner. All right. Okay, we're going to take a short break in a couple of minutes. We're waiting on Abhishek. He's got to go take care of some business for the competition. But I wanted to reiterate some of the things that Abhishek said about Anita and Dick and the competition as a whole.
Guys, you want to listen.
So I did work with both Dick and Anita since 2000 and knew them very well. As Abhishek mentioned, Dick was a very mild-mannered kind of individual. And when I was working the space shuttle program, I was a senior engineer, and people would come to me with their questions and problems that they couldn't really solve. And I went to Dick. So when Dick passed away, it was a big hole in my professional career. It's kind of like, well, okay, what do I do now? I just lost my mentor. So I kind of had to learn to step up and deal with that void. And the competition family is doing the same thing with the loss of Anita. We do have a nonprofit that will be carrying on the competitions, all the regional competitions, this one including, do their own organization, they do their own funding, but our nonprofit aerospace education competitions is there to provide an umbrella structure and the intellectual property that you guys will have. For those of you that did not read the program book, what this particular scenario is, it's going to be an Aldrin orbit. And that orbit was first postulated by Buzz Aldrin as part of his PhD thesis. And it's an orbit that takes you from the Earth out past Mars, out into the asteroid belt, and then returns back next to Mars, and then returns back to Earth. So you have 3 opportunities, 2 at Mars and 1 at Earth, to do exchanges of material and personnel, either raw material or manufactured material. And that manufacturing and the material can be gotten from the asteroids. It can be dropped off at Mars, and then Mars can provide goods and items coming back to Earth. So that's kind of the basic scenario. A good friend, Rohan here, a number of years ago, we wanted to get some Boeing involvement, some Boeing Indian involvement. So I got on the Boeing Indian website and sent an email to all the heads, which was kind of idealistic for me. And I said, hey, I'm Jack Gafford. I live in Houston. I work on space programs, and we have this competition for high school students. Do you have any of your engineers who would be interested in volunteering? And Rohan here was the first one to answer that email, and he grabbed 6 or 7 of his best friends, and that's where we are. We were then. And we have more Boeing volunteers here. Can we get you to stand up? And
This is not the first time that they're here. They have enough experience with the space settlement competition. They choose to come back, and they choose to support the competition, right?
yeah, so
Thank you.
we're very appreciative of these folks coming in. We all have the same corporate heritage, and very proud of that. We're very proud of the things that Boeing India is doing. There's a lot of work coming their way from the United States, manufacturing work and engineering work, so we're proud of that. You want to say anything?
I think we can break. We have a fairly packed session after the break. We're going to take 20 minutes.
So that'd be the bottom of the hour.
So it's about, is that local time? 4:50?
Yes.
4:50. We will come back at,
No, it's not. I've got like
time is it now?
I got like 10 after.
oh, it's 6:10. Okay, let's say it's 6:10. We're going to come back at 6:30. Is that okay?
All
We
right.
break for 20 minutes, and let's come back.
Big round of applause for everybody getting here and being here. Congratulations on attending.
It is great to have all of you. Guys, can you bring your teams back in? I think it's time for us to begin. We are at the end of our 20-minute break.
Okay. May I have everyone's attention for a moment? If you are talking, you are not paying attention. Our friends over on stage right are still not paying attention. Okay, thank you. We're going to get started in a minute, but before we do, if you know of somebody or two somebodies that have not returned yet, would you please raise your hand? If you've got friends that haven't come back yet, I got one. I see some empty seats down here, so are we missing some students down here? No? Okay, you got some empty seats. Everybody has all their friends here? Who heard that question? What letter am I holding up? They're paying attention. Thank you. All right. Let's get some energy going. Let's everybody stand up. Put all your stuff down, stand up, put your hands above your heads, do a little dance, stretch out a little bit. All right, there you go. We got some hustle going on over here. All right. Get a little bit of the blood going. I know it's late. I know you want to get started on all this, but it was Anita's design for this competition to drag stuff out, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, you can sit. Thank you. Okay, I think this is where Abhishek left off. This is the way that you get to the finalist competition at KSC, and I think these are last year's dates. It's actually earlier than that. I think it's the 25th through the 28th. It's the last weekend in July. So we're coming from the Asian semifinals, which are on the upper left here. We got a lot of folks coming in from different areas, and the real purpose of bringing all you students together from different parts of the world is, I still hear talking out there, is to do that cultural exchange. And one of the things that I want to really stress not only in this competition, but in the international competition, if you come into this competition with a perspective of my school is the best and my school is going to make the company win, then you're likely not going to, because you're not coming from your school. You now belong to a company. You have a company name. And one of the things that we do in this competition is we put you into a real-life industry simulation. We treat you as adults, and we let you experience what it's like to be in a company. So when you graduate from college and you go to work in a company, you're no longer from that college. So I'd like you guys to take that with you, that when you get into your companies, it's really, really important that you put where you came from behind you and look at where you're going. Your company is the most important thing for everybody that's in that company. So I just want to stress that where you're coming from doesn't matter. Where you're going to does. How real is the design competition experience? Well, it is real. This approximation is an industry proposal simulation, and Anita will tell you, or would have told you, how many proposals she'd been on. I've been on several, some successful, some not. A demanding customer. Anita used to tell a story about having a five-star general between her and a $3 billion contract. I'm not that hard. But I will expect attention paid to the RFP. I will expect to see integration into the proposals. It's real easy to see when they're not there. There's a challenging task deadline. There's, as you're going to see in a few charts, too much to do and not enough time to do it. And to do this well, you have to adapt and create within your own company, your management structure. You've got to have teamwork, and you've got to have communications. We're going to talk a little bit more about each one of those in a few slides. And this is true in industry as well. And I was just talking to Rohan about the Starliner program that I work on. And they've had their challenges because they didn't do some of these things. So real life, you don't pay attention to your management structure, your organization, teamwork, communication, things are not going to go as the way you expect. I'm here to tell you, been there, done that.
Right, and it's okay to sometimes not focus, and that is why your CEOs are here. They are your coaches, your mentors. So every time they see you straying away from what we expect of you, they will sometimes very gently nudge you back to try and look at what we want you to look at. And maybe if you don't get the clue, they may not nudge you just as gently. They might tell you in very clear and upcut terms, saying that this is what you need to achieve. And as judges, that's what we are looking for. So your CEOs are your allies. Make sure you listen to them and you pay attention to what they're saying.
Okay, one of the things that Anita did was she spent a lot of time at conferences, space settlement, space thingy conferences, AIAA conferences, NSS conferences. And she would come back and say, what we're hearing at these conferences is we're starting to see a space infrastructure. We have some companies that are looking to do replacement orbiting stations. Blue Origin has a orbital reef concept that they're going to do. There's been some interest from other countries to put up orbiting space stations. There are emerging companies that are trying to fill knotholes. Boeing is one of them. SpaceX is one of them. Blue Origin is one of them. There's companies out there today that are startups that are looking at building 3D printed buildings on the moon. So those are real life things. So cislunar economy is emerging. Excuse me. There's a legal aspect that's being developed. You know, how do we have laws in space? How do we have ownership of lunar areas and materials and resources? We've got public-private relationships. NASA's doing a lot of that. The program I work on is like that. The cargo missions are like that. Everything that's going to the moon is like that. The landers, the transport vehicles are programs where NASA is looking for commercial companies to innovate and provide those services, those goods and services, so they can provide those goods and services to other customers. So it's much like the airmail exercise that was done back in the early 1900s, where the government would sponsor the development of aircrafts by the use of delivering mail. So we're seeing that again. Subcontractors, mentioned the 3D printing guys. So when you go into your program book, there's a whole list of subcontractors, and what we like to see is how are you going to utilize these subcontractors? And there's a balance between we're going to have a table of all these subcontractors and they're going to do these things, or we're going to get Garden a Go-Go and you got a picture of something. What I'm looking for, what I like to see is, here's what I'm going to tell my subcontractor I want them to do for me. You know, so you talk about a subcontractor, you talk about the goods and services that subcontractor is going to provide to us, the customer, and why it's value added. So if you get that kind of story, you're golden. So look at the subcontractors in the back of the program book and utilize them. You're more than welcome to come talk to me, Rohan, about any ideas you have about utilizing subcontractors. We'll be hanging around the competition event during the daytime. In the evening, we go off and play golf, right?
Somewhere in the sands. So the only other thing that I want you to know and to pay attention to is, if a subcontractor is already solving a problem, don't go behind solving the same problem. Just use the subcontractor and tell the judges what you're doing, okay?
Yeah, but tell us, the judges, how you're going to ask the subcontractor to solve your problem. Or mine. Okay, you are in the year 2070. And I can never remember how many years in the future it is, but I guess it's, what, 35?
I'm bad at math.
I have people who do that.
Yeah.
All right, Anita liked to use a lot of quotes, so we'll go through these. The single overarching goal of human spaceflight is the human settlement of the solar system and eventually beyond. The last part is really ambitious. And that was quoted by Michael Griffin. He was a former NASA administrator from 2003 congressional testimony. And Administrator Griffin actually came down to Houston after the Columbia accident, which has its whole set of stories. And he would sit in conference rooms with the engineers and debate aerodynamics and other sorts of things. So we had the head of NASA helping us get through recovery from Challenger. And it was very interesting to see him, you know, face to face and interacting with the junior and the middle level and senior engineers. Your settlement design will be called Benevectores. I'm surprised I could get through that. I hope that's how we say it. So for those that you don't know, there's a naming convention for the different settlements. So the first letter of the name represents the order of that particular settlement, and the last two letters tells you where it is. So in this case, it's around the sun. We have other ones that are on Luna, on Mars, around Luna, around Mars. So since this is an Aldrin orbit, it's orbiting the sun, but it's also, you know, I mentioned passing by Earth and Mars. So its purpose is, as we said, transportation between Earth and Mars. Aldrin cycle orbit derivative. So cargo and passengers, and as I mentioned before, raw material coming in from the asteroids are the things that this settlement will provide transportation for. So you can imagine, I don't know the numbers in the RFP, I haven't seen it yet, but in previous versions of this, there's been a number of thousands of people that have permanent residence on the settlement, and they do various and sundry things. And then they also have a number of transients that they will bring to and from Mars. So the name is derived from Latin words, bene, maybe I said that right, to do something in a good way, and vector is carrier or bearer. So you've got a carrier or a bearer that's doing something in a good way. So there's a positive sense to this name. Companies are permitted to suggest a different name as long as you follow this naming convention. So it's got to start with B, it's got to end with AS, and whatever you squish in the middle has got to have some meaning or purpose to your particular settlement design. What happens at the regional competition? Your experience, and you shouldn't do what I'm doing, which is reading the charts. Your experience, what it's like to be an industry proposal team. You experience, I'm sorry, I can't read. The task is bigger than any one person. You have to combine diverse knowledge to get one solution. Very, very important. You've got to work together, you've got to talk together. If you think what you brought with you from your school and your school's the best and that's all that your company needs, then you'll probably fail. You'll face cultural compatibility challenges. I think these are opportunities. When I was very young, when I was 5 years old, my family moved to East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh, excuse me. And being that young, I thought everybody went abroad and it was just our turn. But from a young age, I had to learn how to interact with new and different cultures, and I didn't even know that there was I didn't know that people did not do that. So I would encourage everybody to interact with other cultures, get to know each other as individuals, as students. You're forming lifelong relationships here, and that's what we want. And if and when you get to internationals, it's to be the same thing, but from other parts of the planet.
Also, I think for good or for bad, we've got a few teams participating from remote locations. I think that further mimics what most of us see in our work life. We've got teams who are huddled in meeting rooms, and then we've got different teams who are huddled in meeting rooms geographically apart. It is going to be important to listen. If you feel that just the brains in the room are good enough to win you the competition and you don't need contributions from the teams working remotely, unfortunately, you're wrong, and it's true in most organizations and functions that we've seen. So this competition is going to be an even more real-life simulation of what you will see at workspaces. You will have experts in the room, you will have experts away from the room. So it's going to be up to you to leverage both, and that's how life's going to be.
Okay, you will face the same problems engineers have at work. Too much data, too little information, too much to do, too little time, disagreements with your coworkers. If you guys can take care of that last one, you probably can survive the 4 ahead of it. If you can turn disagreements into consensus, then you guys are just way ahead of the curve. I can't speak. I'm sorry. I'm still jet lagged. The industry experience starts now. This is not a class. This is an industry-style briefing. It's all about information. It will seem dry and boring. It will last for an hour. If you don't pay attention, it's your problem, not ours. I think this is one of Anita's favorite charts. And the simple message here is it's hard to pay attention when the material really doesn't interest you or for some other reason. But it's important that you try and you gain as much information from this presentation as you can. If you don't do this, it usually makes the judging easier. That's true.
And we've had that multiple times when we were judging. You would see that some teams have just not paid attention to anything that we've given them, sometimes even the RFP. It makes our job easier at judging, so I'm hoping all of you will give us a tough time.
Okay, information overload starts today. You can absorb this much information. We present this much. So we're already driving you to a stress level where you cannot possibly know everything that you need to know. And that goes back to the team. You know, if everybody knows a little bit about everything, then everybody knows something about everything. And the collective group will know a sufficient amount of everything in order to get the job done. So teamwork can help solve this problem. What happens at the design competition? You will be challenged. You will become intellectually fatigued. You will become physically exhausted. You will learn some of your limits and your strengths. Some of you will meet your stress personality. Yeah, I've seen this. It's not something we encourage. There's going to be a lot of students who want to stay up tonight, tomorrow night. We encourage you to get some sleep tonight because you don't have the RFP. If you do want to get with your teams and go through the program book, that would be encouraged. You could, especially reviewing the subcontractors and the other companies and what they have to offer. There's a lot of numbers in the program book. If you have a number with a dollar sign, it's probably important. A stress personality is when you get so fatigued that you basically become irritable. You become snappy. That's happened to me. I occasionally am not feeling well and will be irritable and snappy to my wife, and I have to apologize. It's not you, it's me. If that happens, I would recommend that the adults in the room or some of the other students take that individual aside, get him some water, take him to the bathroom. Oddly enough, getting the toxins out of your body helps. Have them stop thinking about what they're thinking at right then and there. And just take a break and bring that personality back to the nice person that we knew before they went off in la-la land. Everybody's competing against the same challenges, so we make it as equally difficult for everybody. You will learn things you might not expect, which is expected, by the way. It isn't the hours you put in your work that count, it's the work you put in the hours. Very true. A lot of times at work, I have a project to do, and I kind of start off slow, and then I have to hustle at the end to get everything done. So it is the things that you can get done in the amount of time that you have. Use your time wisely. Work is much more fun than fun. It was Noel Coward, who was a playwright. Anita used to say that she thought this was true, that when she was doing things that were interesting and fun at work, that she had a good time. And I kind of take that same tack. I mean, as a senior engineer, I push a lot of PowerPoint slides around and, talk to a lot of different people about a lot of different things. And, just the other day, I got to do an interpolation. And then beyond that, I had to go build a little formula for calculating the inrush current in a capacitor. Boy, was I happy. And I got to do a VBA. I got to do a macro. I would much rather stare and do those things than deal with the people I got to deal with. So make sure you have a good time doing what you're doing. Good decisions come from wisdom. Wisdom comes from experience. Experience comes from bad decisions. Forbes magazine. Very true. And this is a cycle that you will never get out of. So, isn't that right, Rohan?
Yeah, absolutely. And especially in the competition, there are times when we give you the RFP and in the first 10 minutes, you come up with an idea, and then you put your heart and soul into that idea, and you keep developing that idea, and somebody comes shows you a flaw. And then you say, no, I've spent 6 hours on this, I'm not giving this away. A lot of time spent on the wrong solution doesn't make it the right solution. If you're on the train that's going the wrong way, get off the train.
Okay, Hofstadter's law. It always takes longer than you expect, even when you take into account Hofstadter's law. And I've actually think I've seen 1 or 2 schedules that took Hofstadter's law into account, and it just still held true. So that's very true. Schedules are very hard to plan to and stick to. So do your best. You will practice critical work skills. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. I saw that on a fortune cookie one time too. But this was said by Vidal Sassoon. He was a business owner. He started a famous ladies' cosmetic and hair product line. Became very successful, and he worked very, very hard at that. Sassoon is a worldwide known brand of cosmetic products. The only man who never makes a mistake is the man who never does anything, Teddy Roosevelt. Nita used to say that she had a 95% success rate on decisions, and would point to me with the same kind of success, but if you don't do something, you're never going to make a mistake. Oops. And I still make mistakes, but I don't let that be a reason for me not to continue to do things. There are no problems that we cannot solve together, and very few that we can solve by ourselves. Lyndon Baines Johnson, and he was a U.S. president from 63 to 69, and the Johnson Space Center is named after him, and that's where I spend a lot of my time. About teamwork. Does anyone here think you're really, really smart? If you do, raise your hand.
I had one guy
We got one over
momentarily
here that's
think
trying
that.
to get the other one to raise their hand. Okay, you're pointing at a few people. All right. Well, Anita used to talk
One
about
guy
if
there
you
who
think,
thinks he's smart. Okay.
if you think you're the smartest kid in class, then everybody else does too. They think they're the smartest kid. So the really smart ones will draw out the talent and resources from other people. So the real leaders will bring the teams together. And that's the person that's really smart. Does anyone here think you're the smartest person in the room? We just went through that. That's just plain arrogant and disrespectful to your customer. None of us is as smart as all of us. There is no company without people working together. Phil Condit, he used to be the CEO of Boeing. He also came down to our facility after the Columbia accident, so I actually sat next to him. Talent wins games, but teamwork wins championship. Michael Jordan, a basketball player, and Michael has been called the greatest baseball or basketball player. He also played baseball in the league. There's a couple others that stand out, but Michael is definitely at the top, if not the best. And this quote is really underpinning the point that it really takes a team to win a championship, no matter how much talent you have. You got to come together as a group of people that are got a common goal. The most important single ingredient in the formula for success is knowing how to get along with people. Another Teddy Roosevelt. Very true. I spend a lot of my time talking with people and finding out what they need and helping them get it. You got to get along with people to do that. There's one thing we really don't teach people these days is how to produce results by working well with others. Dick Lyles, apparently he was an author and wrote The Winning Ways. So again, you can see this theme coming back about working together, working as a team, forming teams, integrating, communicating. How do we emulate the workplace experience? Okay, so this is a template schedule. So we're here Friday. We're doing the introductory program. You're going to organize with your companies. Saturday, we've got training sessions. You'll begin preparation of the designs. You'll go back to the hotel. Sunday, companies submit finished designs, proposals. We do presentations. And then we do judges' deliberations. That's not on here. And then Monday, we'll do a debriefing and announcement of the winner. So this is what your organization is going to look like. This chart has not changed in years. So you have a chief executive officer or multiple chief executive officers. Those are folks that are in industry that have come and provided their time to help each company work their way through the proposal. They're a resource. There's a kind of an unwritten rule that they really shouldn't help design, but they will probably tell you if you're heading down the wrong direction. And with the, like, do you really think you want to do that? If you hear that from your CEO, you may want to stop and think about something. But you got a president. Sometimes you have a systems engineer. In industry, those sometimes are called chief engineers. You got your vice president of engineering, vice president of marketing. And to talk about, the systems engineering, that's my job. It's integrating across all the different departments to make sure that they're talking and that they've got a consistent design. So the systems engineer is responsible for making sure that the communication happens. Vice president of marketing and sales is responsible for putting the proposal together, the actual product. That cannot be done without inputs from all the different departments, and without a clear understanding of the requirements in the RFP. The vice president of engineering is there to kind of also integrate across the departments. And then each department is responsible for the types of topics that are listed below them. If you've been through a competition already, you kind of know what those are. What happens in the technical sessions? You're going to find out about your department responsibilities and the roles in the design process. Requirements are going to be very important. You'll learn about teamwork, coordinating in your department with other departments, and responding to management. You get advice from the technical experts, get insight on how to respond to the RFP, ask questions, benefit from their knowledge. And again, Rohan and I and your tech session people may be around. You don't have to just talk with them in the tech session. You can talk to us anytime you want. You also can talk to us about things that are not competition related. If you have a question about your career or where you want to go or how you might do something, you can ask us those questions as well. We may or may not have an answer, but we encourage all that. We're here to help you get to the next phase in your education or put you on a vector to your vocation that you will be having for the rest of your life, or at least a good part of it. So we're here to launch you into the world of adulthood.
The only other the sidebar to that is there's a lot of times where we encourage even your CEOs or even judges ourselves, when you come to us with a question on the program book or the RFP and you say, hey, can we do X, Y, Z? You might hear answers saying, I think you'll find the answer in the program book or in the RFP. We're not trying to be rude. We're trying to make you focus on where the answer should be and where you should be looking for solutions. You will see that happen multiple times over the course of the competition, even with your CEOs. They, of course, will be briefed about the RFP, and there's a good chance when you go to them with a question, they might tell you, I think you need to look at the RFP and see what the RFP is asking you for.
And I think Rohan and I will help point you to the right areas. We're not going to make you go read the whole thing to find one nugget. If we know it's there, we know where it is, we'll help point it out to you and help you understand it. We provide tools to help you. Okay, we're going to, Abhishek's going to have to figure out how to get all this.
I think they already have this on their Discord servers, right? Your CEOs must have already shared these bit.ly links, or the QR codes, to where you can submit questions to both Jack and I. We will look at the questions and we will attempt to answer them, and you will see those responses in the answers book.
And this is actually an industry practice. Companies that are proposing on a competitive proposal can ask their customer questions, but the customer will publish to all the competitors the answers. So it can be a double-edged sword, but it is something we added to the competition to, again, bring another real-life element in. Rohan and I got to get our computer set up to answer this, but, and Abhishek's going to have to help you figure out how to roll this out. I don't think you have these QR codes yet, or this bit.ly, but we'll get that to you. Key pages of the program book. Press release. The press release is a little thin in this one. Describes a scenario, describes a customer. The infrastructure, there's a page in there which is a Gantt chart that shows you all the different things that are available. We're way out on the right-hand side of the timeline. So there's a lot of things in the solar system that are available to build and operate this particular settlement. So take a good look at that and utilize that stuff. There's cost data. As I mentioned, commodities available on the Moon and Mars.
We need to take a special gesture to show them. We show this every time, and this shows up all the time. So
yeah, fusion electric power, if it's in your proposal, it will likely make you crash and burn. I don't think we have to worry about geo-to-surface space elevators, but they're not available either. You can do an elevator on the moon, and then there's a scenario for that, but no fusion power, please. Subcontractors, we mentioned them. Look at what the subcontractors can provide you. I glanced through the list of subcontractors. There's some new ones in there. There's one or two that are probably not applicable, like Dirt Builders is paved stuff on the moon. I don't think you're going to need that. But if you can figure out a way to make them use it, then go ahead. This weekend is a brand new ball game. What you did to get here is forgotten. I don't know how many times that's happened. Whatever worked last time didn't work this time. You are judged on what you do here. And again, it's important. I know that there may be a lot of information that you guys have on your computers that you brought with you from previous designs. In the past, it's been frowned on that those have been used. My personal opinion is if you have something from the past that actually answers a requirement, and if you cite it from a previous proposal or a previous source, then in my opinion, it's acceptable. But you got to get those 2 marks. Otherwise, just invent something new. And that's done in industry too. Boeing has reused a whole lot of information on a lot of their proposals. So you can do it. You just got to do it in the right way, and it's got to answer the requirements. If we ask for round houses and you give us square ones because that's what you did last time, then we'll know that you didn't do it right. And while I'm on, I'm going to talk a little bit about it, artificial intelligence.
yeah.
Don't make the mistake of not checking your AI answers. I've seen shuttles on the Mars, space shuttles, because AI drew that picture on the wall. I've seen drones on the surface of the moon with propellers and no air, so that was wrong. So if AI gives you an answer and it's not quite right, you either have to fix it or not use it. Because if we see it, we will take off points for believing AI is the answer when you didn't check it.
Because remember, the Foundation Society is paying for your proposal. And if you're going to take our money, and if the solution is not going to work, we're going to take away points. And there's a lot of time when you look at the RFP and you think, we've seen this before, I think this solution fits best. Abhishek and the Foundation Society spends a lot of time writing the RFP and coming up with original problem statements. So if you think that it's an exact copy of something else that you've read, we can assure you that you're wrong now.
Yeah, so be careful with AI. And that's in true life too. AI is emerging in a lot of different commercial venues, and it's got the same exact problem. Past performance is no guarantee of future success. It's true in the stock market. How companies work, communication.
Jack's favorite slides now.
The biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it had happened. Actually, I'll go back on a story. Dick used to do this section, and Anita could never bring herself to do it, so she asked me to kind of do this. And other volunteers have done this section too, but Anita never did this section. So the biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has happened. Example, so we were in India at the Om Shanti Retreat Center, and I was standing with the president at one end of this large room, and he hollers something at his vice president all the way on the other side of the room. And I turned to him and I said, "Do you think he heard that?" No. I said, "Why don't you walk over there and talk with him?" So that's an example of believing communication happened. Make sure the recipient is understanding what you're asking for, and the other way around. Okay, communication paths. I call these communication transactions. If you have 2 people, the number of paths is 1. If you have 3 people, the number of paths is 3. If you have 4, it starts to go up a little quicker. It's not a linear function. And if it's n times n minus 1 over 2. So if you've got, this shows you if you have the number of people here, you've got that number of transactions. You have 60 people. So you'll have 60 times 59 divided by 2, whatever that number is, and it's up in multiple thousands. So there's plenty of opportunity to make miscommunications.
And then we've got the X with people being remote.
Yeah, and you got AI on top of that. Okay, 50 is 1225, and you got 60. 9/10 of the serious controversies which arise in life result from misunderstanding. Louis Brandeis, U.S. Supreme Court Associate Judge. I think we're seeing a lot of that in across the globe today. A lot of controversy and conflict going on, and better understanding may help that. A single shared goal is critical. That's a repeated theme. The formula for success is a secret. The formula for failure is to try to please everybody. So while the second one is admirable, it's not always attainable. You can have brilliant ideas, but if you can't get them across, your ideas won't go anywhere. Lee Iacocca. He was the president of the Ford Motor Company. He was also the chief engineer on the Mustang. And in the late 1980s, he was also CEO of Chrysler and brought them out of a bankruptcy situation. So he kind of knew what he was doing. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen a great chart never make it into the package. We call it dropped on the floor. So, or if you've got a story that just isn't there. So clean, I'm going to tell you what I told you, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you what I told you. I think that chart's coming up.
We've also had examples of a great diagram, great solution, but the person who designed it was so stressed out that just forgot to talk about it.
How to play the game and win. Find out what the customer really wants. Read the proposal. Come and talk to me and Rohan or Abhishek. The design is for your customer, not you. Create a single design that does everything requested in the RFP. Well, everything is unattainable, but do as much as you can. Design what your customer wants, not what you want. That's repetitive from the sub-bullet before. Make sure your presentation shows that your design does everything requested in the RFP. The customer may have reasons you don't understand. If you left a teacup on the floor, would you please exit? Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Everybody outside, go pick up a teacup and then come back.
Please get up.
Everybody up.
All of you get up.
Everybody up. Everybody outside, pick up a teacup.
Guys, we discussed this. You need to respect the campus and keep it clean.
And you need to help your other students do that as well.
Yeah. Let's put it in the trash can.
जब ये हटेंगे तो दिखेगी.
Walk quickly, please. देखिए.
You could go out and get a teacup.
Mention the source of whatever you're putting together, right?
Go pick up your teacups.
Can we finish? All of you settle down, please. Guys, settle down. Stop fighting. X number of people left and only half of them came back. So either you guys cleared all the cups or they're still looking for cups.
We'll give them a few more minutes.
Guys, only Rockdonald and DAFC have tagged Gaurav. That is why they have access on Discord. The rest of the companies need to tag Gaurav. Only then you get access on the Discord servers.
Okay, show of hands. Who heard that?
Hello?
Okay.
I just said something which might help you get a little more information in the competition. Only Rockdonald and DAFC have tagged Gaurav, and they have access to the Discord servers. People who haven't tagged him, you are losing out on information. Please talk to your CEOs about tagging Gaurav so that you can get access. Settle down. Folks, settle down, settle down. I have a few announcements to make, and I will start when I hear nothing.
Okay.
Quieten down. Okay, thank you. We will have to leave the campus by 8:30 max, at 9:30 local time max. Dinner is at 8. Dinner is at 8:30. 2 mistakes, I'm done with the day. Dinner at 8:30, we have to leave the campus by 9:30, and that is the last. You have to leave by 9:30. Please use the time before that to work with your CEOs to organize yourself into companies, departments, and department heads. Use the time that is there after this presentation to organize yourself. 8:30 is dinner, 9:30 we vacate the campus. There are no exceptions. Everybody who understood that, please raise your hands. People who didn't understand that, please raise your hands. Okay. Was there somebody? I'm sorry. You didn't? What about tomorrow what?
Schedules in the program book, last page.
Oh, from the university? Yeah, you need to leave from here, and all of the work happens at the hotel. Yeah. We need to vacate the campus every day at 9:30. If there are exceptions to that, we will let you know way ahead in time. So we'll deal with it. We'll deal with today.
By the time we get to tomorrow, there'll be enough inertia in this competition that you'll have people to help you answer those questions.
Don't worry. If there's any information pertaining to logistics, we will make sure that all of you have the same information together. If it's not in person, you will see it come to you via your CEOs, or we will make sure it's on Discord, okay?
All right, I would like to thank all of you students for going out and picking up teacups. There's two parables that would go along with this. The first one is, you're all guilty by association, or the other one is, you're your brother's keeper. So going forward, when we have tea or when we have lunchroom things, please pick up after yourself. If you see someone that is not, please ask them to do it. If they don't, please do it for them. If there was an adult that said it was okay, you could leave it there, don't listen to them, pick it up and throw it away. We are the stewards of this campus, and we need to leave a good impression. So again, thank you all for picking up teacups. I hope that the brother's keeper parable sticks more than they're guilty by association. All right, so let's start over. Find out what the customer wants. Read the request for proposal. Can't tell you, I can't stress that enough. It's what the customer wants, not what you want. Do everything in the proposal. That's a challenge that's never been met, but it's still the challenge regardless. Beware of implied requirements. Homes need furniture, we need clothes. This can get you down a path that can be risky. You can think that a drive requirement is to have a theme park, and that may or may not be appropriate for the type of settlement you're in. So you got to be judicious about what you think a implied requirement is. If you're not sure, come talk to us. Okay, this is my chart. So if you have a proposal is like a propeller. You've got 3 different props. You got your requirements, your design, and your presentation. And when those are balanced, you have a balanced proposal. Now, what do you suppose most presentations and design activities look like? Yep, they look like that. So you do a pretty good job on requirements. You spend a whole lot of time on design, and you rush to the end to get your presentation done. So run your proposals like the propeller on the left and try to avoid the one on the right. Here we are again. Read the RFP. The first set of bullets, what we've seen in recent past is there's a lot of attention on just a few requirements in the proposal. So and we've had this as a not so good point over the last 2 or 3 competitions that I've been at. So make sure that you're hitting all the different parts of the RFP. You know, don't give me 6 pages of robots and nothing on a construction sequence. You know, there's going to be nuances in these RFPs, little things in the 0.4s and the 0.5s. Make sure you look at those. You know, so if I got 6 pages of home designs, there they go. Then you're wasting white space on things that you could be doing somewhere else. So balance the content of your proposal against the requests and the requirements. Pay attention to your interfaces. This scenario will have interfaces with transportation vehicles coming and going from Earth and coming and going from Mars. Do not include designs or features for services that are not provided by other contracts. So what that means is the RFP will say, buy another contract, we're going to get something. So that's a green flag, if you will. You don't have to do that. You just have to know it's there. You will do a briefing. Slides tell the story. The briefer guides the audience through the charts. They don't read them like I am. The audience could read for themselves. The presenters add explanations not on the charts. Presenters call attention to important points. Here's another thing that we've seen as a not so good point over the last few competitions. We'll see a slide that's got 2 bullets on it, and there's a whole lot that is said that isn't written. So in those cases, and it's kind of contrary to what it's saying here about not reading the charts, if there's something important to say, a number, a dimension, a rationale for something, if you're going to tell us that verbally, write it down. That way we know that you thought about it before you submitted your proposal, and you're not doing on-the-spot engineering. So if you say something and it's not on the chart, we may take license to disavow that. So be very, very careful. Write down what you're going to say. But then with a good briefing, you will know your material and you'll be able to talk it without reading the charts. Organize your briefing. Make it easy for your audience to follow. You got 35 minutes. Present the pages in the order you intend. And I'm not sure what we're doing this time, but it may be that you get to present the file that you actually provide. Be proud of your product. Show your company name on the first page. That helps us.
Also, and irrespective of what mode that they submit in or who's running the slides, I think it's very important that they number their slides right. Because when it's our turn to ask questions, we find it annoyingly difficult to traverse through non-ordered pages. And it takes away time from us to ask the question, takes away time from you to answer them.
So now that you started, Rohan, I'll let you brief from the bullets from the bottom up.
Sure. This is the minimum that you need to get done. For one, even at work, I like telling people you need to have a max of 5 points on a slide, 5 words in a point at best. That should ideally convey what you want to say. Anything that you want to say over and above that, you can always talk about. Your chart ideally should have a title to help us understand what you are trying to talk about. The charts must be legible. Please understand, sometimes we also get printed charts that we refer. And while it might be legible when it's on a screen this size, when we're looking at it in person, when we're trying to traverse through and ask a question, the handwriting may not even be legible. Sometimes some of you who are excellent at making sketches, make interesting sketches, but you write a title or you add an important point, which is absolutely illegible, and that ends with us not being able to read it. Thereby you lose points. Dimensions are extremely important. Please mention dimensions wherever there is graphic representation of just about anything.
And that's legible dimensions.
Please use units that we recognize. Try and keep units uniform. Don't send us looking for conversion orders and that sort of stuff. Try making it a little easier for us to understand your proposal so that we truly see value in it. Words are short. Used bulletized text. You don't need to write entire long paragraphs of stuff. You can try and follow the 5 and 5 rule. 5 points per slide, 5 words per point. Use the landscape format as much as possible. We're not running Instagram stories. We find it very difficult to read the other format. So run in the landscape format and provide page numbers, extremely important. It also helps you understand if you're actually exceeding your 50-page limit.
Yeah, going back to units, try to stick to ones that are common. And one example is atmosphere. You know, we've seen, I prefer to see it in pounds per square inch because I understand that. If you give it to me in another unit or milligrams per cubic mile or something like that, then it gets hard for me to understand if you've met the requirements. So stick with common units. And I'll look at the CEOs to help us clean that up. To win, you need to play by the rules. Only your company employees work on your design. Library books are available. Actually, they're not. You got the internet. Provide janitorial staff. We just had an exercise in that. So thank you again for your time. I'm going to make a point here. In the internationals last year, there was an advisor that systematically went around to the teams and was meddling, and it made a very uncomfortable situation. That is in violation of this first bullet here. So we encourage the advisors to advise, support. You can answer questions if you feel comfortable doing that, but please do not engage the students in terms of helping them do the designs. That is that's your work then, not theirs. So don't put your students in that position. Don't make us judges have to say, hey, this is not a qualified proposal because it had too much interference from advisors. If you're not certain about that, you can come talk to me or your CEOs. So please make that a priority.
And more often than not, it becomes easy for us to spot those because if the creator of the design is not on stage, they won't be able to talk through that design. And we should be able to, we usually do catch them in the first 2 questions, right? So try and make sure that, coaching is fine, but make sure that the design comes from the team.
35-minute presentation. We got 10 minutes for questions. Present presentation on a data stick, 50 pages or less. All pages are formatted in standard white paper. I personally do not like black backgrounds, and they chew up printers. So I like white backgrounds with whatever. Judges may disregard slides that do not meet these requirements. Logistics. I'm not quite certain we're going to do this, but I'll go ahead and brief it. Okay, install your briefing as one file on one laptop. Submit your data stick with your presentation file. Do not change the file on your laptop. At your company's presentation time, connect your laptop quickly to the projector, indicate when you are ready. I'm going to talk to Abhishek about this. We started a different tactic here where the company presentations were submitted on a data stick or emailed, and then the foundation would use the files that were submitted to let the companies present. That way there's absolutely no way that you can make changes. So I need to talk to Abhishek about what he's going to do, because this may not be the right logistics. This is an old chart.
Yeah, I think we did that in the Indian regionals as well. They came, submitted their sticks. I think we might follow the same thing here as well.
Yeah, I don't particularly like this method. I like, you're going to present what you gave us. You are professional now. You have the same basic responsibilities NASA employees. Keep it legal. Keep your head clear. Keep your work areas clean. Do not say anything you wouldn't want to see on the front page of tomorrow's newspaper. Be smart. Tonight, get some sleep. You'll need to be alert to work on your designs. I need sleep. 14-hour plane ride from Houston. You want to make a coherent presentation on Monday. So if you're going to be a presenter, you might want to think about getting sleep tomorrow night. Media may be present at this event, so keep that in mind. That's the press, by the way. Remember to thank your volunteers, your CEOs, technical experts, judges. We're all doing this on our own time. Some of us on our own money. There's not many people who travel from Houston. Just me.
You know who the first bullet point's talking about.
Yeah, I did take paid vacation, though. And this is universal at the bottom, but it's universal is that we're here for you guys. We're here to make this experience for you something that you will remember. Good luck.
All right. So we're hoping that all of you were coherent enough to listen to everything that we had to say. I hope you have at least a lot of what we actually gave you. I think the CEOs would now meet with your teams, make sure that your organizational structure is sorted out. You have time now.
And then we got dinner.
Yeah, you got about 20 minutes, no, to 8. So you have easily about 50 minutes from now to get your organizational structure sorted out. 8:30 is dinner, and then 9:30 we leave from here. Okay? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay. Thank you for listening, and good luck.
Thank you, and good luck again.
Hi guys, just one quick announcement. Grumbo Aerospace is using their own Discord server. They need to discontinue doing that and start using the Discord server that Gaurav assigned to you. Yeah, so
How many from
CEOs
Grumbo
make sure
Aerospace?
that
Raise
this
your
way.
hands, please.
Thank you.
This one was for you. Okay, there are some concerns that were mentioned about the Wi-Fi. This is the new Wi-Fi credential. If you want, you can come take a picture. Anybody who's got Wi-Fi problems, try and log into this SSID. It's a good time to test your cameras and Zoom all the way in the back. Back there, do you have? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Guys, you have to be back here by 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. All right? Please don't be late. Be here at 9 a.m. in the morning. That's our daily schedule. We are here at 9 on all 3 days in the morning.